Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. And today we're going to be talking about the highly requested video of why you suck at CT Overpass. Luckily for y'all, it's like one of my favorite maps of all time. It just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of practice, and hopefully with this, you can take a couple things from this video, implement them into your game, and feel a little bit more comfortable on the CT side. Generally, CT side Overpass, at least at the start of the round, is pretty easy. Most rounds, you want to start 2 players at A and 3 players at B. The 2 players at A usually want to consist of 1 rifle and 1 op. If you're an operator, this is your time to shine, and you really want to try to have it up as much as possible and value it as much as possible because there's so many long sight lines. Can really benefit you if you have that in the game at all times. It just makes this map feel so suffocating for the T's. Hey, what's up, guys? Gonna take you away from the video here real fast to talk to you about today's sponsor, cs.money. As many of you know, I've worked with them for a long time, and if you guys are unaware of what their site's about, they basically do fast trades and they have a marketplace. You can trade anything you want in the trade mode. They have super low prices that are lower than Steam. They got like 1 million skins, and if you want to buy or purchase something instead, you can always use PayPal or crypto as well for the marketplace. If you're looking to get rid of your skins or you're looking to move on some skins, they also have an instant sell feature as well, which is absolutely sick. So they've changed the prices recently to give better pricing on the instant sell as well. And if you're super into it, you can also look and buy for something brand new almost instantly on the spot. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, make sure you guys check out my link below that supports me. And without further ado, let's send you back into the video and I'll stop yapping. So first we're going to be talking about the A rifle. This guy is essentially the opera's bodyguard. Your job is, yes, to guard the op, but also part of guarding that opper is by being his eyes and ears in other parts of the map. So sometimes you might want to double up, but in reality, a lot of what your job is doing is moving around the A side of the map solo, gathering information, figuring out where the T's are, poking and prodding where they are so your opera can be in a good position, and so that way your B teammates can have faster rotations. So just a detour for 1 second. Let's just dive right into those rotations. Overpass is a CT sided map because of how quickly you can move to both bomb sites. You spawn on the A bomb site, but also you're standing directly above the B bomb site, and you have direct access to the B bomb site from heaven in like 5 seconds. Everybody's doing this. Counter-Strike is an information game. Every map you're trying to do this, but especially on the A site, your job is to be collecting that information so that way one of your teammates from B can be making good choices on whether or not they should be moving up to rotate up to A to help you in holding either bathrooms or long, or sticking on the B bomb site because the B bomb site is incredibly difficult to hold if you're not ready for that T and when they're about to explode onto the bomb site. So as the A rifle, you should be really starting every single round like with a plan in mind, in just terms of where do I want to start in the first 10 to 15 seconds. Maybe you have a good long spawn and you want to take it all the way down long and maybe look for a timing to punish players moving up through playground because they've been going through fountain and bathrooms early. Maybe they haven't really been contesting any of that area very much, and they've been bullying your B players. You can maybe find a way you can start inside connector, smoke it off early, open up the door, take a peek at short for more information, listen to them at the start. If you control this connector area, similar to the CT side, this is like the T version of heaven. If as the A rifler, you find situations and positions where you can hold this area of the map relatively safely because the T's aren't pressuring you, you are essentially blocking the T's fast rotation on the map. If you control this area, you will have a lot of success, especially in Premier and matchmaking games at the lower levels, because people just won't be as comfortable flushing you out of this area. That's basically the general like philosophy of Overpass, is you're always trying to find that information, control the rotations because of how quickly they are on the CT side, but then also when you can be greedy and take away connector, you are essentially denying the fast rotation for the T's and helping out your team immensely by controlling this part of the map. So just like a little basic round start that you can do is when you come in here, you can just drop a smoke here. And just like we talked about, maybe you know they're in connector, so you don't want to open the door and they spam you. But if they're not really in there and they keep going through short B early, you can maybe ask for a flash or just try to take a timing to fight the short players. Even with the door open, you can still be a nuisance if they try to go up towards sandbags. You just have a lot of different options as the con player. However, if you die in here, you're an idiot. You don't have to be in here. This isn't a bomb site. At the end of the day, this is high value if you can take it. But if the other team is investing a lot to removing you out of this area, it's not the end of the world to give it, and we'll get into why here in a second. If you're then losing connector a lot of the time, you can play here at the front of bathrooms. This is another really strong position for the A rifle. Why? Because when little Timmy walks front bathroom without using any nades, he's actually giving you his shadow when he comes in here. So you can see his shadow as he enters the front bathroom, and you get him easy kill on the first player. It's really good to try to sometimes spice it up and go for long timings, you know, especially if they like to heavy flood through fountain into party, or what some people call balloons. You can essentially look for a timing and try to backstab that area, because it's really hard for tees to kind of look everywhere. And if you're not playing team-based Counter-Strike, the chances that somebody's holding you, it's not impossible. They might be there, but it's a good risk to take, and a lot of times you'll be rewarded with good timing. The tricky part with all of this is it's all on you. You are there to gather info. You are a human ward that is meant to stay alive, poke holes in the attackers, basically trying to take space around bathrooms or connector, and letting your operator know where they are and letting your B players know where they are. Because essentially, if you know, and if they never get past bathrooms, you can stack 4 players towards B, which is so valuable for your team. And once again, why it's okay if you give up connector. If you're holding this area, or if you know when they start taking this area, you get a kill over there, maybe you come out long, get another, or you exit out of long and stay alive, you're gathering so much information to your team, and they can always be in the right position at the right time. It's a lot of intuition. It's going to take a lot of practice and a lot of dying. You're going to have to push your limits, and you're going to find where that wall is. Essentially, you're always kind of like making educated guesses and trying to gather that information for your team, so that way they can always be in the right position with their rotate. Let's talk about the op. Overpass is an opera's paradise, especially with the CT economy changes. Like, you got no excuse now. You better have it. Your job is to just kill them as much as possible. You might be starting A some rounds. You might sit A every single round because the other team just is obsessed with it. You might start B some rounds because you feel like the team's going into short. You know, your most standard openers, you could come up here and jump up on party and look for the first guy that's just crossing the playground. That's a great way to start the round. Another option is you can come long, jump on the bench, give yourself a nice little boost up here and hold long. When you're opping and when you're playing towards A, is you just need to keep an eye of where your other rifler is. And I'm not delusional. I know a lot of your games, and even my own, that guy isn't necessarily communicating very well, and you're gonna have to look at the radar a bit and sometimes understand that, like, hey, they could be all the way up because he just decided to sit truck for 45 seconds because he didn't watch this video. So while your teammate's sitting at truck the entire round, exactly where he spawned in, you might not be able to hang out here forever, and that's where you become Nitro of Team Liquid. And this is going to be, you know, your bread and butter position. This is where you're going to get a lot of reps. It's where you're going to get a lot of shots. And you're going to have to take advantage of it and get really comfortable in this area. Get comfortable with these angles for when they hit the site. Because it's not always going to be a perfect round. You're not always going to just like maul them in bathrooms. And this is going to be your best friend. When you have a really good spawn, something that you can do if you're feeling it and you're a very aggressive rifler is you could just take your spawn, move up through divider here, and go into connector at the start and look for a pick there. This is high risk, high reward, though. Just keep that in mind. There's going to be some timings you have to get used to. Another thing that you can do that's really strong is similar to the rifler is once you do that, you can smoke off con, and then you can open the door and look for players that are trying to scale up short and work their way to sandbags. And if you don't find anything, it's not good to stay here. If you're going to eventually get pinched and you're going to have a bad time. Another thing that's important as the op is if your A rifler is doing a good job of gathering information is you can start rotating towards B especially. And you have a few different options. They changed Heaven, and so it's not as powerful to be up here as it used to be, which also makes that information your A rifle gets even more important. Because if you end up getting smoked out Heaven, you're on the rotate. That means you're more committed towards B than you were previously, and it makes it for longer rotation to A if they ended up faking out your teammates. But something that's really powerful to do is you can also start the round with a boost towards short, looking into short tunnel right here. That's a good way to look for an opener. Another thing is playing around pillar is really powerful if a team just keeps popping on your monster player. And just in general, working around this pillar, working your way around. Don't commit too much. And if you need information really, really badly, you can just walk your op into short and look for information that way. But you're going to need a rifler to go all the way through. You can only do so much. Similar to the A rifle, though, essentially this map is kind of whatever you want it to be. You know, you have to kind of start making reads of what the other team is liking to do, so that way you're getting as many opportunities with your op as possible, no pun intended. It just takes practice. There's no perfect guide where I can show you every single angle of Overpass and every single position of things that you want to do, because it's going to come down to personal preference and your read in each and every single Overpass game, which is what makes this map frustrating. hard to play, and one of the most rewarding maps to play once you get the hang of it. Now let's get into the less glamorous job. The position that when you spawn in, nobody says, I want to play monster. Unless you have a complete psychopath on your team, which after reading some of the comments, I think I have quite a few of those in here. So there are instant monster smokes. If you want them, you can watch replay them, twitch.tv/flom. If you don't want instant smokes, all you need to do is just come to the dumpster and aim at the bottom of this. Now, if you're one of the 3B players, you are the 3 amigos, okay? You want to be throwing this every round. Somebody should be throwing this every single round. This is really the only piece of mandatory utility I feel on Overpass CT side. They're just going to go monster and hope they can get some duels like be on Inferno and win the round, or they're going to rush it. So that's why this smoke is so necessary. It helps your monster players settle themselves into the round. It allows them to peek into the tunnel at the start and gives them a higher success rate of just like actually holding the position. Now, obviously, little Timmy might whiff a spray, and that's a whole different problem, but we got to set ourselves up for success. If you're one of the 3B players, let's just say you're the monster guy or the guy that's prioritizing monster. First off, always come through heaven. It's faster. Come through heaven, fall under the tire. Don't jump. I am so old. I jump out of this and I take damage every time. Do not do it. Now, ideally, if you're the monster guy, you are not throwing that smoke. Your teammate is throwing that smoke, hopefully, if they're cool, and you're coming here monster and you're going to be holding this. Couple things I suggest, especially for Premier and Face It just in general. A quick little easy way that you can flash for your monster teammate is just coming to the edge of heaven here, aim at the arrow, and just left click. That's it. Arrow is literally telling you where to flash monster. That way they can swing monster and peek, and if anybody's rushing them, they can swing with the flash. You had a really cool teammate that also smoked monster at the end of it, so anybody that pushed through the smoke is now blind, and your monster teammate can hold, and hopefully just like set yourself up for just defending the push. If you're cool enough and you are trying to hold monster and you have a teammate to smoke at the start for you, but you don't have anybody to flash, there is nothing wrong with just right-clicking and underhanding a flash and swinging. You'd be so surprised at how effective and easy that is. Because remember, if they decide to rush you at the start, they are going to be running through a smoke. So you just underhanding, not throwing a perfect set flash is still really strong. So your whole job as the monster player is to stop that initial push. And then once you do, this is where you just want to make it really difficult for the T's to come out monster. My personal favorite spot at the end of the day, until people watch enough YouTube videos or until they prove in the game that you are playing that they know how to molly this barrel position, barrels. Until they make you move, do not play barrels. This position is just so strong. The only thing you really need to be worried about is a boost from the side. And once again, the coordination and people doing that too often right now, I feel like since it just got added, pretty low. But eventually, once they get smarter, this is what you kind of need to be a little bit of aware of right here. And this is the good position for it because then you won't get shot from short. Do not respect them and hold barrels because it's such a valuable position for the CTs. If the other team constantly is mauling barrels and knows it, ideally what you want to do is have smokes on monster and you want to be slightly off angled, and you could even play incredibly close. This playing right here is really good because what a lot of people end up doing is they kind of, oh my God, let's just go monster. And they throw it from really close. And then even though they throw a flash that should blind you, if you're playing right up against the exit right here, you can hear them pull the flashes and you'll hear the flashes coming and you can just tuck and hide with a smoke. But that requires a little bit of coordination. You need people dropping smokes, refreshing the smokes on monster. That way they can not just walk up on you, flash you, or just dry peek you and kill you. Now, if you end up getting relegated to the guy is just smoking and flashing monster every round like this, where you smoke and just like we talked about, you are telling your monster player that you're flashing for him, you kind of have some options here. So keep in mind, once you do that, the timing is pretty quick. The T's, granted, they'll probably be pretty loud about it. The T's can start to be pretty close to short and even challenging you. So just careful after throwing all of those nades, just crossing right here, because if somebody went there fast, you're going to be walking right into their crosshairs. So I would say you're going to be kind of delegated and designated to pit. If you aren't sure if they went in there, don't be afraid to just come over here and give this a little jump spot. This jump spot is always really good. Don't do the thing where you just jump up and down. You actually see less. You should strafe and jump to the side. Playing it around in pit just takes a few reps because there's so many angles because of this little ramp area that you can change your height elevation. You can dictate so many different fights, but it just takes time. You can isolate a lot of 1v1s, but you can also overextend and die. Now we kind of have this third player at B. You really want to keep 3 towards B because this bomb site in general is a lot more accessible to the T's than A is. It's a lot less of a travel. The fights are a little bit more direct, and they're right on top of the bomb site in most of the key choke points. What you can do is you can start the round by either jump spotting short, or something that's really nice is if you just line up here with the corner of this building and then you just run towards it in the underhand, you can literally just molly short like this. There's no crazy lineups, and if they're not smoking the Molotov, take short. There's no risk. Just wait for the Molotov, smoke the Molotov before they do. When you smoke the Molotov, you take away the initiative. Don't wait for the molly to fade and then smoke, because you're letting them dictate when the fight happens, right? If you take that initiative away, they can't even look for a pick. So if this is mollied and you're entering into short and you still see it mollied, you can pull this smoke out quickly, take that out. Now they have another choice to make. Are they going to just dry run through the smoke? They might, and then they'll give you a free kill. Or my personal favorite, they'll get incredibly frustrated that they got stuffed and they'll try to do a Stewie 2K underhanded, but you're standing right next to them, right? So as long as you just kind of get into a further position than they're expecting and you just keep walking on the smoke, the chances of them clearing you and being ready for you are incredibly low. Take away any initiative that they can have for giving a fight, because really it's not worth dying here, but it's worth taking if you can, similar to Connector. It's good to test the waters. You know, you want to see like, all right, can I get short B this round? Because if you can, my God, does this map feel hilariously easy. It's the same thing as Connector, but from the B side. Your monster player can hang out barrels, and then you can even have your second teammate at B come into short with you, and next thing you know, anybody that tries to rotate through Connector, you're just getting free kills on a headshot angle, and your other teammate can off angle anybody coming in from short pipe and that's baiting you a little bit. You have so many different options. You play hide and seek simulator in here. It's really powerful. And then last but not least, as the third B player, you can rotate up to A. This is where things get really cool with Overpass on the CT side, and why it feels really hard sometimes is once you get little Timmy on your team inside short, and maybe you've cleared monster or peeked it a little bit, and B is just feeling really weak. This is where you get to be kind of the Joker of the wild card. But you need to slot into what your team is doing. And this is still, once again, we're still building on this idea of just needing the reps. This map is incredibly fluid, and it's why it's so fun. Is like, these scenarios are not playing out the same way every single time. They're unique in every situation that you're moving into. So if your oppers push long, maybe you need to help your rifle with bathrooms. If your opper is opping bathrooms and he has control of it, maybe you can get to long and help your rifler who's in a more like entrenched position in long bathrooms. You just kind of need to read the situation and come up with the best outcome possible, but it's always going to be slightly different based on the information that they have of where the T's are and where your teammates are. That is what makes Overpass CT side fun, but also is what makes it challenging. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed the video on why you guys suck at CT Overpass. If you guys enjoyed the video, please do not forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate you. I'll be working on T-side Overpass here very soon, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.